Hi there. Okay, today I'm going to show off what's been done in MakuluLinux, the new upcoming Cinnamon edition, which is based on Debian. So, in short, the name is MCDE, Makulu Cinnamon Debian Edition, MCDE. Um, okay, so this is the desktop. It's very pretty, very traditional. Bottom bar at the panel at the bottom. You've got your notification and system icons on the bottom right. You've got some shortcuts in the bottom left, as well as a start menu in the bottom left and a start menu in the bottom right. So we're going with the traditional Makulu style of dual start menus. Now the start menu on the right hand side is the slings menu, as has been in all the previous releases. That's probably handy for the visually impaired that need larger icons or larger display. That would be very handy. Or just the lazy people that prefer scrolling through a menu with the mouse wheel. So that menu, if you don't like it, it's easy removable. Just remove this applet and it's gone. On the left hand side, you've got the more traditional style menu. This one is in the style of the Mint menu, the Mint Mate menu, where it has the places icons, the system icons. It's got the system logout icons over here. It's got the favorites tab, as well as all applications, which will then take you to your main menu. So it's very similar to it also has a nice little clock on there, as well as a calendar or a date, and a filter box to search for menu items. So it's a fully functional, very nicely laid out menu that pretty much has anything you could want in a menu. The file manager is Nemo, which is fully functional, including the compress and extract options and all the bells and whistles. Open as root, all fully operational. As you can see, well, let me just minimize that for now. We've included a bunch of backgrounds, quite nice, a lot of nice backgrounds, so the user can set any of these. As you can see, they're pretty snazzy. A couple of really nice ones. That's the default one. I like that one. The owl and the mouse. Okay. The shortcuts at the bottom is your file manager terminal. We make use of the XFCE terminal. I know a lot of people are asking why not the GNOME terminal. Well, the XFCE terminal is just, I don't know, I just like it. I prefer it. It's got more features, and it you can set the transparency on it and so forth. The web browser now, we used to use Chrome, but we use Firefox now, mainly because there's been some issues with Chrome over the last few months. I just don't like where Chrome is headed. So yeah, Firefox is pretty much what I've become accustomed to using since issues with Chrome. I am running this in a virtual machine, and I do have about a million other things running in the background. The laptop does have 8 gigs of RAM though, so makes it possible, but it might still be a little, will drag a little bit here and there, so just excuse that. The software center that we're using is the same one that Mint uses. The Mint skin, obviously it points to the Debian repositories and Debian packages, but it's the Mint skin for the software manager, which is very nice. Just give it a second to update. There we go. So yeah, easy to install, very nice looking, I guess. You just kind of display screenshots and gives you reviews and tells you the size of the packages and which packages, and you've got a remove or install button, little screenshots. You can click on the screenshot and it will actually make it bigger. I've got a couple of downloads running in the background, so that affects my speed as well. And I'm in South Africa, so the speed already isn't all that great. But so yeah, that's the software manager. We've also included the Synaptic Package Manager. So you could use either to install or remove software. The more advanced users will prefer Package Manager, as you can see. Package Manager. We've got included a little update source list shortcut. This is the same as in previous versions. Those that don't know, it's a one-click update button. You would enter your password and it would start updating your source list. That's its only function. It's basically to update the source list quickly and easily, instead of having to type sudo apt get update or whatever. And then you got a show desktop button. So that is the basic. Oh, let me just run through these icons as well. You got all your open windows and your workspace over here. Next to that, you've got a clock calendar. Next to that, you've got a little power indicator, which you can then set your preferences, or you can view the battery status and so forth, so forth. Next to that, you've got your updates. I see there's quite a few updates. I'll update that just now. Then you've got your variety wallpaper changer. We'll get to that. You've got your sound adjuster. You've got your network options. You've got your keyboard options. And then you've got a little applet to take screenshots, open terminal, add, remove applets, system settings, and edit panel mode. And then, of course, you got your notifications. So you got all your little useful icons here at the bottom. Now, you've noticed there's a clock and a quote on the desktop. The people that have used Makulu before will know that variety wallpaper changer controls your wallpaper, which changes every 2 hours or so. It also changes the quote on the desktop automatically, and it displays the clock on the desktop. So that's all part of the desktop. You cannot drag or move those, and not unless you go digging into the config files and do some manual editing. Those will always be on the left hand side of the screen. You can, however, disable them easily via the preferences. I think it's under customize. No, is it under effects? Sorry, effects. Random quotes, clock on desktop, so you can edit them there. So that's pretty much the desktop. You've got a couple of icons on the desktop as well. In my case, of course, the installer is there because this is the version I'm actually building on. Once you actually install, that installer icon gets removed. So you'll have your home and trash icons. The theme, we've included quite a nice little selection of themes. By default, you get a couple of cinnamon themes over there. If you go into other settings, you'll see there under controls, there's quite a lot of themes here. You can, for example, change controls to aid waiter, albatross. You can go crazy with themes for your controls. The default ones I've named the default controls, and the window borders, the default borders I've named default. So anybody who wants to sort of go back to what it was can simply just choose default, and then they would be back to what it was. The icons we use is the booth icons, or the birth icons. There are one or two other icon sets included. Mouse pointers, Oxy mouse pointers, currently Oxy Black. You can also find more themes online that you want to download, and it's as easy as selecting it and installing. So the theme is very nice. I like it. It's a little different to the previous themes. In the past we've gone very dark. This time around we've sort of mixed it. We've kept the sort of dark borders and so forth, but gone with a much lighter middle sort of content part, you know. And it's very, I wouldn't say bright, but highlighted. Highlighted's probably a better word for it. As in, if you open up, let's go into sort of a couple of levels deep in, you'll notice that it actually shows there. You can just, you know, if you sort of go back to a different folder, it actually highlights everything in blue. Sorry, I've got a bit of flu. If you select a folder or a file, it sort of highlights up a nice blue shade as well. Everybody should know Nemo. This is a standard Nemo. I haven't done any kind of editing on it to manipulate the look other than theming. You've got some nice features in Nemo. The theme also has a lot of, like I said, highlighting. For example, if you click on search, it'll actually display a nice green block here with a search function, so you can immediately see what you're doing. You know, the same for sorry, man. Setting your path and so forth. Also, when you do go into root mode, you know, you can see elevated privileges, nice highlighted big bright, what's this, sort of a purple pink shade, so you can see immediately that you are in root mode. So that is very nice. We've got applets that you can add. Now these applets, keep in mind, they are designed by third-party users, not by the Mint team, not by me, but third-party users. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of applets that I've included. These are the ones that have been tested and fully working. You can get more online, you know. And these will add little applets to your menu at the bottom here. For example, this little shortcut here, this is an applet that I've added. I've had to do some editing for it to work in Makulu properly, as may some of the other applets require some kind of editing. But it's fully functional, so you can add more stuff to your menu. Quite a nice little selection of whatever you want. You've also got desklets. You can right click and you can go add desklets. And for example, you can add the weather. Let's add a weather desklet here, and let's configure it, and let's give it some transparency. Let's give it a nice border, and there we go. There's a desklet that I can now drag anyway. See how easy that is. And configure, let me think, what was my time zone. It currently uses open weather, so there's actually a little text file that actually tells you how to get the code. Here it says for open weather, you can type the code you'll find by openweathermap.org, search the place, and in the address bar of the city, the code that you get there, you enter. So let's go to openweathermap.org. Actually, I think I know the code for my city. Is it 964420, I think? No, 9644. Okay, let me just go check this code quickly so I can just demonstrate how easy it is actually. So we're going to go to openweathermap.org. Yeah, my net's a little slow. Sorry about that. There's not much I can do there with that. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, weather in your city. Okay, that's the one I want. And I want Port Elizabeth, South Africa. And let's search. See if it finds it. There we go. So I select Port Elizabeth, South Africa, and there's the code 96 4420, copy, and 964420. There we go. Done. Port Elizabeth. It's actually quite easy. I know it takes a minute or so to actually do it, but once it's done, it's there. And there I've got the weather on my desktop. Very nice looking. You can add a whole bunch of other desklets as well. I just added a few here, but you can get more online. So if you go online, there's actually a whole bunch here, including you know, launchers and extra panels and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, so that's desklets. And then you get extensions. So you've got applets, desklets, and extensions. Now extensions, basically probably a combination between desklets and applets, except mostly they act like as applets, but they also extend the function of your desktop environment. For example, you can add a docking panel to Cinnamon. There we go. Now you've got a Cinnamon dock here. Highly configurable. And you can also, there's all the settings. You can also enable auto hide for it, you know, and now it will hide until I bring out my mouse. You can set to show bottom, top, left, right, wherever you want. So very easy. You got 3D app switcher, desktop cube that turns your desktop into a cube effect when you alt tab. When you switch between workspaces. You've got wobbly windows that you can enable. That works very much like the Compass wobbly windows, except that I'm in VirtualBox, so most of these features not going to run very well in VirtualBox. You need like a proper graphics card or proper actual graphics hardware. But yeah, so widgets, extensions are quite nice and they're quite easy to install. You just click on the extension, install it, activate it, and configure it. So you've got extensions, applets, and desklets, all fully functional. It's a very nice desktop environment, Cinnamon, I must say. I would not recommend it for full-time use inside a VirtualBox. You know, it is a little bit more demanding than some of the other desktop managers, desktop environments, actually, in terms of using it inside a VirtualBox. Currently, it's running on 300 megs of RAM. When you first boot up at system idle, it uses about 242, but I've now obviously opened a couple of things and the applet's running and so forth. So 300 megs of RAM is really not bad for Cinnamon. It is fast, you know. On actual hardware, it runs like normal speed, full speed. It's very fast. It's a nice desktop environment. It's nice looking, you know, much more modern and slick, sort of like the Windows 7 or Windows 8 of the Lani world or whatever. So it's got nice menus, nice borders, just a nice all-round, nice finished, touched everything. The menu is highly configurable. Somebody actually asked me to sort of show this menu off, so I will. Currently the menu layout is set to Mint, but you can actually configure this menu. You can set it to look like a Windows 7 menu just by simply changing the Windows layout. And now if I click, you know, you'll see Windows 7 menu. These just set default name and they'll come back. Anyway, you can change it to a whole bunch of different menus. This is actually very, very awesome. Classic menu. So if you click now, you'll have more the classic style menu. Whisker menu. If you want the whisker menu, you can have a sort of a, I'm not even sure this really looks like whisker, but I suppose in many ways it does. But you know, you can configure the crap out of this menu. I mean, there are so many options here, it's not even funny. I leave it the Mint menu because that is my preferred style. It's also, as I see, the one with most features and the nicest layout. I like that look. I don't like the actual name saying menu, so let's just remove that. But yeah, this is Cinnamon running, fully stable. I mean, there's no crashes, no problems with it. It comes with a whole bunch of applications. Let me just fix this. This menu is also a third-party applet made by a user, not any specific dev team. So there we go. So you know, it's got its ups and downs, but for the most part, it's fully functional. The apps installed are most useful apps that you'll probably use on a daily basis. I haven't gone overboard. Games is just Play on Linux and Steam. Graphics is MyPaint for editing pictures. Nomax is an image viewer, actually a very flippin' nice image viewer. Your internet options are your Firefox web browser, your Thunderbird for mail, Pigeon for messaging. Steam is obviously for internet gaming. Office, you've got Foxit PDF Reader for your PDF files. You've got Kingsoft Office Suite for your Office files. You've got Wine installed. You've got Audacious for listening to music. You've got Brasero for writing CDs. You've got your Pulse Audio volume controls. You've got a simple screen recorder for your desktop. You've got VLC video player. Of course, the preferences are the default options, and under administration, the only new additions here would be BleachBit, boot repair, very handy. Your dconf editor, grub customizer, your software manager, and yeah, the rest are all basically standard stuff. The task manager, of course, is the LTask, which is a very lightweight LXDE task manager. It's very simple. It displays the processor's CPU and memory usage. You can go more detail, and it will actually give you more detail or less detail, and it gives you your overall average consumption. It's got a lot of options. Nice little lightweight task manager, easy to access. You just open your start menu, and there it is. I had a lot of issues with the standard control panel, which I think I left a link for it here, just in case any person had to have access to it. Let's see, it is here somewhere, I'm sure. Let's see here. Do we see there? System settings. Okay. Now this is the default control panel for Cinnamon. However, it has so many problems. I don't even know where to start. For starters, Power Manager, blank, nothing. The module's not even coded. They just simply, it does not exist in the system. There is nothing to link it to. It is just blank. So you got no power options. Keyboard options, again, semi-completed, not fully functional. There is no display options here. There is no way to actually configure your monitor or set your display resolution or anything like that. The network, is there even a network option here? I don't even think there's no network applet. So you've got no way of configuring your network. There is just so many things wrong here. It's you know, half of these don't even work. So yeah, this is such a shitty system settings panel or control panel or whatever you want to call it, that I was actually so disgusted that I actually went out and made my own. That's the Makulu Control Center. So if you open that, you'll be presented with a control center from A to Z that pretty much has everything. You want to open applets, just double click and there you go. You want to edit your displays, you just double click and there you go. You can now set your display options, and that option is not even available in Cinnamon, but I've made it available. Where's that keyboard options? Just double click and bring up the keyboard options. Region and language, there we go. Change your language settings easily. Themes, users, windows, workspaces, system update, sound sharing, screen lock, power options. You want to set your power options, just double click there, and I've actually linked that to the known power options. So you can either set it here, or you can just right click here and go preferences. This one's actually a nicer sort of layout. So yeah, everything, this is a nice little all-in-one center. I've put everything all in one spot, so you can sort of come here and just change whatever you need to change. It's a fully operational control center. It will give you all the options to edit whatever you need to edit to configure your system. I've even linked things like gparted, which usually isn't in the control panel. It's usually a separate entity. I've actually linked it into the control panel as well. So you'll find a couple of extra options here that usually aren't in a control panel or the default control panel. There's your network options. That one's completely missing, but I've got it fully operational. Yeah. So I've made a nice little control center of my own which users can use, and of course over time I'll probably update it and improve it. But there you go, Makulu Control Center. That basically sorts out any problems with any kind of cinnamon issues with control centers. So that was a lot of time consuming work, but it's functional and I'm happy with it. So yeah, there you go, MakuluLinux Cinnamon Edition in a nutshell. Fully functional, running smooth as hell. I don't know what else to show you. I mean, it's a nice desktop environment. It's got all the bells and whistles that Cinnamon usually comes with. And I know I'm skipping a lot of stuff, but I'm also assuming that a lot of people have used Cinnamon or seen Cinnamon. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details of what Cinnamon is and what it does and what it can't do and can do and so forth. I'm going to assume everybody has seen it or knows it, or if you don't, you can go onto YouTube and go check it out, or download the Mint version and try it. I'm basically just showing you what we've done and what is available on our edition, in addition to the usual normal Cinnamon features and stuff. So that is it, MakuluLinux Cinnamon Edition in a nutshell. Running stable, no issues, very fast. I mean, and low resources. I mean, 300 megs is nothing, especially considering I'm running a whole bunch of stuff here on the background, on the desktop here in the background, and I'm in VirtualBox, and yeah, that is Cinnamon. So that is my little demo for the moment. I wish you guys well. This is the beta 3, obviously. So show off the wobbly windows, for example. See if that's, there we go. Of course, it does not work well inside VirtualBox. You need actual graphics hardware for it to run smoothly. But there you go. The desktop cube. Add desktop cube, and then I think it's Control Alt. There we go. Desktop cube. So yeah, you can add a lot of nice little effects to Cinnamon. It's a highly configurable desktop environment, similar to most of the other desktop environments. I wouldn't say it's as configurable as XFCE, because XFCE you can, sort of go overboard with your file manager. But it is nice. It's modern. That's pretty much what Cinnamon is. It brings a whole modernness to the desktop environment, to the Linux community. It's sort of like running Windows 7 in the Windows series instead of Windows XP kind of thing, where everything else is XP. I would say GNOME 3 and Cinnamon would probably be the Windows 7 versions, except GNOME sucks. So yeah, that is it in a nutshell. Thank you for watching this demo. I think this should be out within the next few weeks. I don't want to actually give a specific time. It is very close to being finished. Just a lot of polishing now, just smoothing out the rough edges and so forth. Everything is functional at this point. So yeah, it's just polishing now, and maybe a few last minute bugs that might get reported, and then it's time for release. So keep an eye out for this. It's coming to you very soon.